Mm. Meet Ife Franklin. As a resident artist of Rhythm Vision production company, she exudes the idea of art interdisciplinary. As a writer and filmmaker, she is currently producing The Slave Narrative of Willie May, set to premiere June 19th. Now, please give a warm virtual Rhythm Vision welcome to Ife Franklin.
What's going on?
Yo.
Hey. What's up? Yes.
Peace and love, y'all.
I'm excited today. We got a very, very special guest with us today, Avery.
Yeah, we do.
You already know, man. Like, I've been thinking about this interview since we booked it. All that she has going on right now, all that she's put into the culture, all of her artistry is just phenomenal. Please,
come on now.
Can we get some virtual love for Ife?
I'm about to say, let's put it together, y'all. Put it together, y'all. Put it together.
Absolutely. So, Ife, we just gonna jump right into it.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Don't waste time. Right
First of all, can I say this? Like, whoop whoop to DC, because I'm born and raised from DC.
All right.
Yeah. Let's let them know.
From the city,
rep your city.
Absolutely. So let's just start off. Just tell the audience a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your art, what you do, what's your motivation, how you got into your field. Just give us.
Wow, that's a lot. Okay, wait, which one? First of all, I want to say I'm just really, really excited to be here with the both of you, to be here under Rhythm Visions and Rhymes and Rhythms. I love my friend Renita Martin, Rhythm Visions production company. And I was just saying to Jarrell that I'm just so very elated how this iteration of that you guys are here, that you're the next generation, that you're going to carry this on, that you own it.
Yeah, definitely.
With such grace and wonderment. So, okay. How do you want to start this?
I mean, I guess. Oh, go ahead, Jarrell.
No, so I was just gonna say, just tell the audience a little bit about you and about your art. We know that you're a multifaceted artist, so just tell us about some of the avenues, some of the disciplines that you work with.
Okay, I'm originally from Washington D.C., born and raised, not like Silver Spring, like I'm talking in the heart of the city, Northwest.
Yeah.
And back when it was still super black.
Chocolate City.
Well,
come on.
When I grew up in Washington, D.C., it was a black town. It was 99.9% black. Everybody was black. Okay. Everybody in my high school was black. My elementary, my junior high, like that's how I grew up. A lot of times when I think about how I grew up, I think about Zora Neale Hurston and folks like that who grew up in all black towns. Right? Because that's where you get your pride. That's where you get your dignity. That's where you get your fight. That's where you get your love. That's where you get your Miss Johnson down the street saw you. She calling your mama, that kind of love. Okay.
That village love.
Yes. And that kind of love is ancestral because that's what we did from the time of enslavement. Okay. No, wait. That's what we did prior to enslavement, prior to colonialism. This is how we took care of each other. So that's what we did, through the mechanism and horrors of enslavement. And we carried it with us through our emancipation and freedom, which I will put in air quotes because, we're still fighting for that freedom. My art making adventures began in Washington, D.C., I actually began my art making career as a photographer. Wow. I started out as like the family photographer. Like somebody handed me the camera once and realized that I could really use that frame well. I was really good at close-ups. I was a kid. So then in high school, I went to McKinley Tech High School, right?
Okay, McKinley Tech.
Yes, McKinley Tech. Hello. Right. I went to McKinley Tech High School, and then at the time they had an arts after school program called the Lemuel Penn Center. Mm-hmm. These folks came. It was like a few blocks from the school. They came. They gave a presentation, and they wanted kids to sign up for the program. I signed up for the program, and that through that program, 2 years of studying there, that's how I built a portfolio that got me into art college. From art, okay, I applied to 3 different art colleges, and I got into all 3 of them. And I applied to Minneapolis College of Art and Design, Kansas City Art Institute, and California College of Arts and Crafts, which is now called California College of the Arts.
Okay.
I accepted to all 3, and I chose Minneapolis first. I was there for 2 years. I couldn't take the weather. I transferred to California, where I totally fell in love with the place, dropped out of school for a while.
While that weather, right?
Studying photography, but also, when you're in art school, you have so much at your fingertips, so you can try so many things, right? So many things. So I did a little bit of everything. And when you first go in, you have to do foundation classes. And, I sucked at a lot of that stuff. And then, after California, I dropped out of school for about 3 years, to my grandfather's horror. And then, I kind of just wandered around. Like, it wasn't just wandering around. What I did at the time that I had dropped out was that I was back and forth to Brooklyn in the 80s, and I was really hanging out with a lot of queer Black women who were doing all kinds of things. Okay, Alexis DeVoe, Hattie Gossett, Stormy Weber, Edwina Lee Tyler in A Piece of the World. The first times I was ever introduced to Black lesbians raised me up. Okay, I'm Black and queer. Happy Pride. Black lesbians really raised me up. Okay, really. The first time I ever celebrated Kwanzaa was with Black lesbians. The first time I took an African dance class. It was with queer Black women. Wow. And Edwina Lee Tyler and The Piece of the World were she played she still plays the djembe. Edwina Lee Tyler, like, she's on Facebook. She's still drumming. I went to so many salons and heard poetry. And I was a photographer at the time, so I was documenting all this stuff in black and white and developing my own pictures. And so this is where my art. I've just always been blessed with being in the company of incredible people. Like, you ever heard that book called This Bridge Called My Back? Okay. Oh, some feminists. Okay. What is this woman's name? Sherry. I don't remember the name of the woman who wrote. It's a collective of writing This Bridge Called My Back with Black and Latina feminist women that came out. I remember when that book came out and going to these salons. I remember living in Brooklyn, going to a loft. I don't know if it was in Manhattan. I don't remember where it was. And there was a sheet up on the wall. There was a woman there showing her short film and asking for donations at the time. And that was Julie Dash showing her short. It was a 15-minute short of Daughters of the Dust. It was not completed.
Wow.
So it's like, I feel like I've definitely lived a life. And the reason that I can write a book and bring it into performance is because I was brought up by women who did that, who wrote books, who wrote chat books, who wrote all kinds of books. These women were artists. They were free. This is the thing. They were free. Wow. Doing their work in New York at this time and in DC. I mean, one of my photography teachers at the time was Lee Mosley. Lee Mosley still lives in Washington, D.C. She's still an active photographer. She was one of my instructors at the Lemuel Penn Center. So I've had incredible mentors, incredible instructors that I've taken with me to these different places. And I can do what I do now because of and people like Renita Martin and Letta Neely. Like, I've seen my friends write plays. I've sat in theater spaces with them, with their experiments, with their full pieces. And little did I know at the time, I mean, of course I'm absorbing, but I didn't think, oh, I'm absorbing this because I'm going to write a book someday. And I'm going to do something like that. I'm there with my heart open, cheering them on. Like, so long story short, that's sort of how I got here. Okay. From New York, from Brooklyn. Then I moved to Massachusetts, and then I moved to Massachusetts because of a relationship that I was in at the time. But now I understand that I moved here to finish school. That spiritually, like, you know, you think you're doing something because you're doing it, but spirit actually is leading the charge.
Oh, most definitely.
You need to come here for me to find the School of the Museum of Fine Arts, Boston. Because the schools that I went to that I mentioned prior were in a cohort of art colleges, and mass art is a part of that cohort. So I could have transferred all of my credits to mass art, but people said to me at the time, mass art was a very different school than it is right now. Like museum school was thought of as more innovative, and people said to me, "That's where you should go. You need, because of who you are and the way you are in the world, you need to go to museum school." And it was the best advice I could have received.
Wow. So it seems like your whole, I guess, artistic journey has been kind of rooted in your spirituality. Is it a matter of a favorite discipline? Is it a favorite medium that you feel like most allows you to express yourself the best, or do you feel like it's just the expression in general?
Wow, what a great question. I feel like I have been blessed to have that, to have the spirituality touch everything that I do. I'm at the phase in my life where I understand that everything that I do is ritual. Everything that I create is ritual. Everything that I do is guided by the ancestors and the old souls. Like everything that I do is guided by Egun. Egun is the Yoruba word for ancestors. They are guiding this ship. All right, I am the ship. You know, people be like, well, the ship, we'll wait for the mothership. We are the mothership.
Hey, I like that. I like that.
I mean, we are the motherships hovering. I mean, of course, there's another, you know, mother, but we are the mothership. We are God. Okay.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah.
We are direct. We're not just direct reflections of God and our ancestors. We are.
Yeah.
This. So this is a recent knowing for me. This is very. Other people have understood this about me for a long time, and I, you know, for lack of self-esteem and self-worth and all the different things and the traumas and all the things, I'm just stepping into myself, my full self. And it feels really lovely. And I feel so like usually 5 days out of my event happening, the film is still being edited. I don't have the link yet. I'm okay. You see, but I can sing about it. Okay. Right now, I have like this faith. It's not just right now. It is that I'm being held. Like this project, the slave narrative of Willie Mae. Jumping kind of fast forward.
It's okay. You just talk your stuff. That's what we want to hear.
It's been such a every project that I make. Okay, because now I understand that everything that I create is ritual. That means that everything is an ebo, the Yoruba word for ritual, for sacrifice, right? So that every time you perform ebo, you're opening yourself up for growth. You know, that's what the ebo is for, right? To feed the ancestors, to feed the Orisha, to feed the spirits, however you think about it. You know, you can't be like, help me, and you don't give something back, right?
Right.
A lot of times what we give back is our work. A lot of times our work, the cycle, you know, the circle of that. And at the same time, you better thank your ancestors for that poem that came to you. You better thank your ancestors for that grant that you wrote, because everything that they give you, they can take it.
Yeah.
If you're not as we said, Jarrell, if you're not in alignment, and I feel like right now I am in total alignment. I don't know if I'm in total alignment. I don't know if we're ever in total alignment, but I am. I mean, like Nina Simone, birds flying high. You know how I feel, and I'm feeling good.
Amen.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Or I could quote Nipsey Hussle. You know, there's a family show.
You got blue on too. You know,
Hey, that Nipsey Blue.
You know, and the thing is, I don't really know that much about Nipsey Hussle. I only know one of his songs. But my thing is, I only need to know one. Because if one is
That's
the one,
it'll speak. It'll speak. It's no question.
the other song. What's that other song I really like by Buddy? Black. What? I don't have to hear nothing else. Feel like Trayvon. What is Black Hoodie on? Huey P. Newton. Black Newton. What? Y'all youngins are killing it out here. Y'all youngins are killing it out here. And my thing is, I got a lot left. Like, I feel like I'm just, how many older people have you heard say, I feel like I'm just getting started. But I feel like that's
the motivation you have to keep though. Like I feel like if any artist, especially like I said, an artist of your caliber, an artist that puts out the impactful pieces that you do, we're happy to hear that you feel like you're just getting started, because if this is what the start looks like, we can only imagine what's yet to come. Like, that's crazy. And you kind of started to mention and get into it a little bit, and you talk about how everything is ritualistic, everything is led by the ancestors. So can you tell us how it was that you were led to the slave narrative of Willie Mae? How did you get there? Because of course we know the film's coming, but it didn't start there. So how did you get to this story? How did you get there?
Okay. Okay. Spirit led me to write this book. This book is a direct download from the ancestors. Absolutely direct download. I'm not going to say something. Ancestors led me to go to my keyboard, and in my Facebook status bar, I wrote this book in 3 months, one stanza at a time. The book starts out, okay, in the book, there's like 37 stanzas, like #1 all the way to number 37. And then the book just came. I started writing it, and then I started thinking just a few sentences at a time. And then I said, maybe I'm just being self-indulgent, because people were responding, and I wasn't thinking it was going to be a book. Okay. Like, this was just coming. I was not thinking. So I'm like, okay. And it said that my great grandmother needed to be centered. Like, Willie Mae is my actually great grandmother. It's historical fiction. So the book was coming. And so then after a while, I just said, okay, let me just stop. Like, this is just like, and people were writing to me saying, what happened next? You can't just leave us hanging. Like, where are we going with this? Then I started to try to write it. And nothing was coming. Like, it was just like a dry, and I don't consider myself to be a writer. I've written poems and stuff, but I'm not Renita Martin. Like, I'm not you, Avery. I'm not you, Drill. Like, I'm more of a visual artist that writes sometimes. Okay. And then a woman who is a Yemaya priestess sent me a DM. She said, I noticed that you haven't been writing lately, this story, which is really good. And I said, yeah, it's just not coming. And she said, do you have a picture of your ancestor, Willie Mae? And I said, yes, I do. She said, okay, when you go to your computer next, put the picture of her and a white candle and a glass of water next to your computer, and you should have no more problems. I said, okay. I did that the next day. The portal opened, my fingers started flying, and the book was this complete download. Like, I'm saying, it was anointed. It was anointed from the beginning, but then her blessing on that, her vision, Yemaya's grace on this, and that's really how the book was completed. The book was completed. Letta Neely is the editor of the book. The book, and also through her publication house, Wild Heart Press. The book was printed in Jamaica Plain at Red Sun Press, which I'm really proud that is such a local collaboration. Red Sun Press is in Jamaica Plain, and they're very I don't want to say leftist. That it ages me, doesn't it? They're very progressive.
I use that term.
Progressive press. So I'm very proud that it went through there. So that's really how the book came to be. And the book is not about my great-grandmother's journey from enslavement to freedom. My great-grandmother was born right after emancipation. My great-grandmother, she died when I was 2. I was told that she liked me a lot and that she held me a lot. I'm starting to really feel that she used to whisper things to me. Because the very first Ifa reading that I ever had, she came up in the reading, and the priestess described this particular picture that I have. She described it to a T. She's never seen it before. Wow. She said, "This woman is your guardian angel." This woman, and this was in the 80s when this woman told me this. And now, the total spirit of my grandmother is right here aligned. And this book is the book and the movie is very important to me because my great grandmother could not read and write. So for her to have a book is very, very significant and very important for me to give to her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And see, I had the privilege of hearing some excerpts of your of the book at Rhymes and Rhythms. Not just me personally, I ain't special like that. It was on Rhymes and Rhythms, y'all. Ife was a feature one month. And we heard excerpts of Willie Mae. And off jump, I remember thinking this is very vivid and this is very visual, and I can see, I can taste, I can smell, I can feel all of that. I can only imagine how that gets amplified into film mode. So speak a little bit about, I don't know, because, as artists, we all see things one way. Mm-hmm. We all are very concerned about getting it out perfect, this one medium. And then when you have to take it and shift it to something different, even if it's something like a poem to a rap or a book to a film, a picture to a poem, seeing something shift, you see different lines that you didn't see before. Just speak about seeing it turn to a film. You know what I mean?
Avery de la Ghetto. Lord have mercy. That question, that insight. Okay, because this project has changed me. This, that song, that gospel song, I know I've been changed. I know I've been changed. What? Okay, it's I had to learn to collaborate. I am used to being in charge. I am the person. I'm not deferring to anybody. Okay, and the project started out as an experimental performance piece. It was supposed to be live. It was supposed to be the whole. Okay, Letta Neely transformed 37 stanzas into 17 scenes. So it was supposed to be the whole of it. COVID hit. Everything screeched to a grinding halt.
Yeah.
We did nothing for months because people were trying to figure out what to do. In the interim, I had seen a lot of people in my cohort and in other situations present their pieces via Zoom. I did not like the quality at all. It was as you said, Avery, the perfectionist in me was this is not the quality of work that I mean, it's great, but even though it's COVID, I can't, right?
That's very fair.
So, okay. So I was told through an organization called Loop Lab, who's doing the film, that hey, you have choices. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be Zoom. It can be this. But I had to pay. I had to pay for that. Yeah. And it's the best money that I've ever spent. And it's the best $1,800 that I've spent. I'm telling you, for the money that I spent, what everyone put into this film, and I'm talking about the actors, the choreographer. Okay, so I had to learn how to trust. I had to learn how to trust people.
Yeah.
I had to learn how to be like, okay, you're the musical director, so I'm really going to like step back. Okay, you're the choreographer, so I'm really going to step back. Okay, and I didn't know how to be a director. I had some sense of directing because I had to, but I've never directed a film. So Evelyn Moore is the consultant to the director. I've learned so much. I know what a timestamp is now. Hello. Okay.
Hey, let's go.
I know. And the thing is too, it's like the human element. Okay. Like I was really nervous that I wasn't bringing enough to it because I had all these people, right? It's also about knowing and understanding your self-worth more. And I did have moments where I'm calling the musical director, Elizabeth Addison, and I'm like, oh my God, they're saying that it's our piece. I'm like, it's my piece. It's mine. I wrote this. And then I was like, oh my God, am I being really effed up? Because like my ego's like out of control right now. And she said, if you weren't right there, then I don't know what I would tell you. She said, you were right where you need to be. Those feelings are exactly real. She said, of course, they're owning it because it's really good. And you've opened the space up for them to feel this way. Like you're doing everything right. And it's just a journey in growth and self-growth and flexibility. Woo! Okay. Yeah. Like COVID has been really messed up for a lot of things. And it has taught us how to be more flexible.
Absolutely.
So, and I've seen the second edit, and the second edit was about 17 minutes long. And by timestamp 102, I was in tears. Like for what people gave. Qualina Lewis is the lead. She's Willie Mae. She plays my great-grandmother. And the fury that she shows is real because our ancestors were really good at stuffing it in. And she shows it a lot. And it's really important. It was really important for me to write a slave narrative that had all the different elements. Yes, it has trauma. Okay, it has, the realness of the situations that were traumatic. It also has family structure. It also has tradition that ties to Africa. It's about love. It's about family. It's about hope.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, I wanted to write a slave narrative that had a happy ending because the writers of the WPA projects who recorded all of these slave narratives, I haven't heard all of them. So maybe there is one that says this, but to my knowledge, I don't know any of those narratives that the people have asked them, what makes you happy now? Right. They asked them, what was it like to be a slave? What was it like to be? They want you to keep talking about this shit that was traumatic.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And if they had asked them, what makes you happy? They would have said the number one thing they would have said, my freedom. The number two thing is that I have my family with me. My family cannot be sold away from me. And so Ife Franklin's Indigo Project is for our people. It's for our people and for anyone who truly loves our people. For anyone who wants to have a better understanding of our people. It is about forgiveness. It's about hope. It's about righteous anger because it ain't just about, let's have a kumbaya moment without dealing. It's about dealing. And you can deal in this way through the art. Okay, you can not only deal, you can heal. My project is about healing. My project is about love. It's about tradition. It's about collard greens and cornbread. It's really, 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 really about love. That's what my project is about.
Wow. So in the magnitude, like I said from the beginning, like that, just how you describe it, as Avery said, I was there for when you were reading excerpts from the book, and it's not, I wouldn't call it heavy, because of course it's a heavy topic, but I wouldn't call it heavy because it really, as you said, it connects. It makes you feel as though, wow, I'm hearing the sentiment, I'm hearing the soul of people that came before me. So in that regard, what does it feel like to have this film premiering on Juneteenth? Such a proud holiday, one that's just, what's kind of just coming into acclaim and building stamina. How does it feel like this impactful film is premiering on this impactful holiday?
Thank you for asking that question. Can I say that? Okay, this is the will of the answers. Okay, COVID hit. This project was supposed to happen last October, and then you have a certain you're still under the grant. You're in the cohort. You got to produce this. So June was the time. I was like, this is the month. This is when I have to do it. And then I chose June 19th. I wasn't thinking Juneteenth. I was thinking, wow, final project. I have to get this done.
And that's the spirit.
This is exactly the ancestors saying, "Oh, bam!" And then when I said this to Matt from Loop Lab, I said, "Okay, June 19th." He said, "Oh, Juneteenth weekend. This is fantastic." He said, "We could promote the heck out of this because of." He said, "Look at this. Look at how it just links up. It's just like," and I was in my mind thinking, this is not coincidence. This is not. This is the will of the old souls.
Yes, man. And it's, I think even more than that, like you said, it connected. It's a divine situation. It's not just happenstance that these things fell in alignment the way that they did. What do you feel about just the fact that this holiday is gaining this prominence? Like, finally, you have states that are finally making it a state holiday. They're pushing it to make it a federal holiday. Few of our generation, I know I did from going to a HBCU, but prior to that, I had no idea about this, about the holiday prior to. So what do you feel about it? Just the Juneteenth gaining this prominence, people understanding the magnitude of that date in history.
Yeah, because I mean, I was gonna say I actually didn't know much about it until I'm gonna tell on myself about 4 years ago. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's like a lot of people that would even add to the fact of promotions for your particular piece for people of my generation and under nowadays. Like, I don't even know if 10 years ago that date would have really stuck promotional wise. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you guys have just incorporated this, can you imagine people who are older than you? Like,
that's real.
Definitely the people in Texas knew, but it's now gaining. It's beautiful. When I was growing up, okay, I would say in the last 15 years, Juneteenth has been on my radar. It wasn't. It was one of those, again, hidden jewels of Blackness, that's right in front of us. It's not hidden. And that's the thing about our history. That's the thing about us. We're, sometimes I really worry about erasure, and then I have to stop myself, and there's no way, or else we would not be here.
Yeah.
People are doing a really good job and are heinously successful at, taking us out and taking us down a lot of the time. And, we just, as Maya Angelou says, we just continue to rise, continue to rise up. So we got to keep rising.
Yeah. And it's amazing how even, of course, our history books do not want to let us know any of our history at all in a real context of what happened. Everything is so whitewashed or sugar-coated. But it's amazing how our culture, even as far back as when we were still in Africa, prior to us getting stolen from our motherland, we still have some of these same culture points, same
the retentions. The African retentions.
It's so amazing to me, because it's like sometimes we're not even conscious of the fact that this is directly connected to Africa. It's
because
just
it's so automatic. Because it's just a part of us. It is.
Yes.
It's the air that we breathe when we blink our eyes. Like every mechanism within us is an African retention. Just like the ring shout. The ring shout is like a direct. It is the oldest. People, refer to it as a dance form. It is the oldest dance form and the oldest way that Black people have used dance and movement and these frequencies of moving in the circle counterclockwise to connect with God. And this is why they could use the ring shout to then indoctrinate Africans and African Americans into Christianity. Okay, like Africans mostly worship a single God, so it was not a stretch of a concept for them to be forced into Christianity. And people get mad when I say, but I'm going to say it anyway. People get mad when I say, well, check it. The only reason that Black folks are Christians is because we were forced to be Christians. Like that is the honest to God truth.
Very true.
And we need to stop being afraid of ourselves. We need to stop being afraid of our religions. Okay? The reason that the colonizers didn't want us to have our religion is because that's our strength.
Yeah.
It's our strength. When people are in the ring shout, the ring shout is directly connected to like the Pentecostal church. Okay, the way the Pentecostal when you shout and you're all those movements and that comes out of the ring shout. When you're in the Baptist church and the Spirit comes down, what is that? When the Spirit comes down, that is possession. Like, why are people afraid of that? And people know that's what it is. But it's a different terminology. Like why the white man has told you to be afraid of the term possession, to be afraid of the juju. Don't be afraid of the juju, okay?
Embrace it.
The thing about the synchronization, why is it that Ifa, why is it that this particular African religion can synchronize with Christianity? Why? Because it was prior to Christianity, because Christianity was built off of this mechanism.
And that's what I 100% agree in the idea that we've become, as Black Americans specifically, have been so filled with fear mongering about what we used to be prior to coming here. And I just watched the documentary on Netflix. If anybody has not seen this documentary, it's called High on the Hog.
Oh,
it is a phenomenal documentary. It speaks like on the surface, it's talking about cuisine. So traveling cuisines from Africa into the South, and then how that ultimately influenced American cuisine as a whole. But the undertone of this was just, as we talked about before, how much we are still connected directly to the things and to the just the
how rich we are. We, for lack of a better term, we are the spice of America. Hello, I'm saying. Okay, when the colonizers came over, before enslavement, they were coming over. They were checking shit out. Okay, for a long time, they were checking it out. Oh, these people can grow rice. Oh, these people grow cotton. Oh, these people grow indigo. Oh, these people grow tobacco. Oh, the climate over there is very much like the climate over here. What? They took, this is the thing we need to understand. They took the best of us, okay?
Yeah.
The very best. So even when people have all the shame and stuff, like they took the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they needed the best to produce the best.
And it's survival of the fittest, too.
Like situation.
Only the best would have made it here over the torturous and tumultuous travel, the journey from even. I was reading an article when they were talking about just the travel from some of their villages to the shores to where the boats were.
Death march.
Some people did not even make that journey. So for our ancestors to have made that journey, traveled across the ocean, and then survived and continue lineage in a whole nother land. Like that's a story of resilience and power that nobody can attest. Like
that's true. Right. And you know what? This is where I'm at now too. Like I'm not I'm at this place of forgiving myself because I can have a lot of romanticized ideas about enslavement, meaning what I would have done. I would have done this. I would have done this. I don't know what I would have done if I had seen my mother burned at the stake. I don't know what I would have done if I saw Massa knock on the door and take my brother so that they could sodomize him. Like, I don't know what I would have done if I saw somebody's eyes get put out. Like, what kind of fear that would instill in me. Like, I used to say really like hard shit about, oh, so they were Uncle Tom. Why? What did you have to do? What kind of choices did you have to make inside of really fucked up choices? And the choice that you had to make wasn't really a choice, but that's all you had.
Yeah.
So if that's all you had to survive another damn day, what would I have done? I would like to believe that I had the strength to run. So maybe that's why I'm writing about running, because that's what I would have liked to think that I would have done, but I don't know what I would have done. So I know, like, what about the ancestors? I don't feel like they were weak because some of them sat down in the dirt and went crazy because you were put in such a box. There are people who could not mentally take it because it was fucked up. Okay. Like, even the stuff that's happening to us now is a continuum of that. And for us, there are some of us now who don't make it, who suffer from mental illness, who suffer from, because I feel like a lot of these ailments that we have are caused by racism. A lot of them, a lot of our ailments, high blood pressure, because it's
like, that's what I feel like people lose sight of. It's not just, oh, I don't like you. It's a systemic warfare that is placed against us. And the fact that we're still standing here says an awful lot about who we are, people. Like, that's
Juneteenth. Okay. Power to the people.
Power to the people.
And that's why it is very important to have mechanisms like Rhythm Visions. It is very important for me to do intergenerational work with folk. And maybe because I'm older, because when I was younger, I wasn't thinking about intergenerational. I mean, not the way that I'm thinking about it now, even though I was one of those young people like y'all. Like, I hung out with a lot of older people, a lot of older artists. And I mean, at the time, they seemed much older, but they could have been like 10 years older, or 15. But that just seems, when you're younger, it just seems like a big span of time. And I'm very grateful for how I was raised by artists, how I was raised to do my best, how I was raised by so many different people in the community. Like, my work, the ancestors have told me, like, this is not about you. It is about you, but it's about community. Like, all the majority of my projects are, the community is involved. They have to be involved. Like I'm going to go back to the actors. Like, this whole process of auditioning, like all of these steps, all of this stuff was like so new to me. And to be able to find people who gave what they did. I'm saying the actors just really tore it up. Like, I don't even know what else to say. All the music is original. Okay, Elizabeth Addison is the musical director. Melissa Alexis is the choreographer. Carol Washington is one of the musicians. Oh God, I hope I'm not leaving anybody out. The actors, I'm saying Qualina Lewis, Tammy Denise, Candace Hilton, Michael Gordon Penn, and Diane Walters. Like, ooh. Okay, I just.
We're so excited for this film. We're so excited for this film.
And it's a short experimental film. It's not a full-length film. It's 3 scenes out of 17. There's like, you have the beginning scene, right? The introduction scene, the scene that draws you in, and then the scene that leaves you wanting more. This was the format, right? And when we were done wrapping up, Evelyn Moore said to me, okay, if you had to choose 3 more scenes after this one, which ones would you choose? She said, think about it. She said, because people are going, it's happening.
More. They're going to want more.
I hope so. That is the trajectory, and part of the trajectory is to bring the work home. Like I'm from DC as an adult. I have not shown any work in DC. I want to come home. I want to show my work at home. Like my book is in the library of the National Museum of African American History and Culture. I donated the book. They accepted my donation. So I really hope somebody there is listening. And I want them to, I would love for them to show the film there. If they have the book there, of course they want to show the film, right?
Absolutely. That's
very true.
I mean, or maybe I could show it at Busboys and Poets. Like, I just want to come home. And I want to come home. I mean, who doesn't want to come home successful?
Absolutely.
You know,
we're going to champion and advocate for Ife coming back to DC. And of course, when you do arrive on the home front, we want to be able to greet you. We want to be able to actually connect with you. Hopefully having some more awesome conversation like I feel like we had today. Avery, do you got any more final questions for this amazing artist we're speaking to today, brother?
I just want to give a word of it's a word of comment. I want to give a word of comment about seeing about something you said, Ife, about trusting the actors that and everyone who collaborated on the project with you, the actors, what they gave. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about art in general. Whenever you're given the opportunity to collaborate, it takes another level because it's not only your interpretation of your work anymore, it's everyone's interpretation and how they feel.
That was scary for me, though, Avery. That was
I know it's terrifying. I know it's terrifying. But I also, when I first started doing work and giving it out to the world and letting people touch your baby, it's like, you know what I mean? It's terrifying because it's like you spend so much intimate moments with it, you know? I understand 100%. And I think, you know, I take the analogy. I always use the analogy that people use for America the whole. It's not a melting pot. It's a what they call an orchestra or a symphony sometimes. I think of art the same way. It's not a melting pot where you're burning down anything that you put into it, but everyone gets their own individual note, their own individual musical addition to it, and it becomes one beautiful noise, I like to call it.
But
so
you know,
I'm looking forward.
The thing is that's why it's so good.
Yeah.
Right? Because because I was able to move out of my way.
Yeah.
I was able to surrender, and I had a lot of help. I mean, let me tell you something. I was on the horn with Renita many a time. Many a time. And you know, you have certain friends who can just talk you down or talk some sense into you, and she's definitely one of those people. And she's had this experience, and she's, you know how she is. She's so relaxed and stuff, and she was just like, "Yeah, that's okay," and just like try to stay open and.
Yeah. Shout out to Miss Renita.
Shout out.
So Ife, where can they find you? Where can we, stay up to date on all you have going on? Let the people know.
People can stay up to date with all that's going on through my webpage. Oh, okay. Oh, I love y'all. And my social media pages. Yes, the Slave Narrative page is my public page. The other page is private, but I'm always posting there. So yeah, please visit my website too, www.ifearts. Okay, it's on there. See, y'all really gifted in black and fast. I don't even have to, it's just bam, it's on there. Yeah, I mean, and I'm pretty much open to people. People want to, send me a DM. People have questions. People want to know more about my process, as long as people are kind and respectful, I'm open. You know what I'm saying?
Awesome.
So thank you.
Awesome. Avery, you want to let the people know where they can find you at, brother?
Oh yeah. Y'all can check me out on Instagram, or you can find me on Facebook at Avery Daylight Ghetto Collins, or Instagram at AC_rap lyricist. I ain't nobody special. It's not about me today, but yeah, if you want to follow me, definitely check me out on there.
Oh, look at Renita. Renita said thank y'all.
Renita, we love you too. We love you back.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm gonna be hiring you for some things.
Hey, I'm out here.
Because what you put together with the music, I was like, that music is fierce. Okay.
Yes. I wanted, like I said, I was so excited about this interview when I saw when I talked to Miss Renita and she said why specifically we wanted you specifically for the month of June as our Meet the Artist, because we knew that you had the film premiering. And when she gave me the backstory, I was like, wait, so you talk about the same slave narrative she was reading? Oh yeah, we need to get this going. So when you sent those pictures from on set from shooting, I was just like, it brought you so fiercely right there into the whole setup. Like, I was reading
those images are amazing.
Yeah, you guys are actually at a slave cabin, right?
Oh my God, how could I not mention that? Okay, we have a few minutes. Okay, first of all, the images, I took some of the images, and a lot of the images, the ones that you posted, were all done by a Black photographer named Wayne Lake. Lake. And then we were able to shoot the film at the Royal House and Slave Quarters, which is in Medford, Massachusetts, that has the last standing slave quarters from Maine to Massachusetts.
Wow.
So the scenes in the movie where you see Willie Mae standing outside of a door, it's like blue clapperboards, that and a brick building to the right of that. Those are the actual slave cabins. When she's sweeping in the very beginning scene in front of the hearth, that's the cookhouse.
Wow. So yeah, we so ready. We so ready.
And to film that on the land that, enslaved people were on, they were there with us. They were cheering us on. We were embodying them to the point where one of the actors got very overwhelmed, like spiritually. And she came over to me and said, I feel like we need to circle up. Like, can we do a mini ring shout? And I was like, of course we can. So we put the music on and we did one. And she needed that to go to get through to the other side.
Yeah.
Man, oh man. Like we said, we are super thankful for you to come and just have this conversation with us. We're super excited for this film to drop. We're super excited for all of everything that you have coming. We know this is only the beginning, as you said.
Yeah.
And for those of you guys watching right now, thank you for tuning in. Of course, if you want to be encouraged, if you want to be motivated by artists doing their thing in their bag in whatever capacity that is, make sure you stay tuned in to Rhythm Visions. Follow us on Instagram, Rhythm Visions, or you can also follow us on the Rhymes and Rhythms page. Ife, will you be potentially joining us for this for Rhymes and Rhythms this month? You might want to come on and maybe read something for us. Maybe you.
Sure, that's a possibility. That's always a possibility. I love y'all, and sure.
Well, hey, y'all, get in her DMs and under her comments, and tell her that she is requested to be seen at our Rhymes and Rhythms at the end of the month. So you guys make sure y'all show up. I'm Jarrell DeGrio. You can follow me on at Jarrell DeGrio.
Yay, Jarrell DeGrio.
@DeGriosphere is my business page. You can also check out my website, @DeGriosphere. I love doing stuff like this, being able to bring stories to the forefront. That's a part of why I chose DeGrio as a name, because that's what it's all about. Sharing our culture, sharing our history, and Rhythm Visions has given us an awesome platform to do that. So make sure, if you feel it in your heart, if the ancestors lead you,
yes,
you know what I'm saying? They lead you. We do take those because this stuff is not free. We need funds. And if you want to support all that we're doing, please donate to us. PayPal.me/Rhythm Visions.
Every dollar counts.
Amen. Yeah. And we appreciate y'all. Ife, thank you again so much.
Thank you so much. Y'all are incredible.
Inspiration.
Continue. #continue. Like Crazy Douglas said, agitate.
We're gonna keep it going.
Peace
all
and
right.
love.
Everybody, blessings and favor.
All right, y'all. Take it easy.
Ciao.